So after the disaster, in my opinion, of Prince of Darkness, just didn't like it. John Carpenter, well, he followed it up with They Live, which went on to be one of his great classics, and is rather, with each year, becomes more significant. This is just a great film, which I will review at some point, but I'm sticking to the horror films. Then did Memoirs of an Invisible Man. It was all right. It's not, I don't consider it a horror film, even though the original Invisible Man is considered that. Chevy Chase, what are you going to do? And I'll get to that one later, too. But continuing with horror films, he returns to horror with In the Mouth of Madness. And he refers to In the Mouth of Madness, Prince of Darkness, and The Thing as sort of his apocalyptic trilogy, as each movie deals with aspects of the world ending. And certainly with The Thing, with what happened, which was inevitable to happen after the events are over, that some of the rescue people would show up and they're going to get infected with the Thing, and then there you go, that's the end of humanity. So there's that aspect. Then you had Prince of Darkness, which is, the devil's an alien from another universe. And so basically, the Antichrist was coming, but they managed to prevent it, or did they? Because, the guy wants to get his girlfriend back from the mirror. Whatever. So that's that aspect of the apocalypse. And then here we have this rather fascinating tale. It's not without its flaws, but it's pretty damn good and excellent compared to Prince of Darkness. It's a movie of its time, and it's an early 90s look and all that sort of stuff for it. But that none of that really matters. It's just the aspect of the fear, and it's an old fear, that you can speak things into reality. So don't talk about the devil too much, he'll appear. And that's kind of the deal here with it. I appreciate it. Being a comic book fan, because comic books have dealt with this sort of thing over and over again, where the writers would put themselves in the story, that you think the ideas are your own, but you're actually receiving messages from parallel worlds. So the Flash of Two Worlds does this, where they introduce the idea that the comic book writer that wrote the original Flash was getting those images and ideas from a parallel universe where there really was a Flash, and so young Barry Allen read those comics, and that inspired him to be the Flash when his little accident gave him Flash power. So there you go. That's the cool aspect. Of course, this is done for the purposes of horror. So the idea is basically, what if Stephen King's novels were based on reality in some other world and universe and whatnot? And so you have this character of Sutter Kane, who has discovered this and ultimately makes himself the god of the world because he can write things into reality. Apparently the trick is, though, that you succumb to his world if you read his book. So it's such a popular book, and everyone who reads it will be infected by this, I guess. And then, of course, there's a movie adaptation of the book. And so people watch the movie, and so then the monsters, if as long as you believe in it, then the power of belief manifests these Lovecraftian monsters and all that. And so it's a combination of Stephen King and of course H.P. Lovecraft, especially with the monsters you see in here, and it's all very disgusting. Even more than the horror of the danger of the threat of what these monsters will do to you. And the people themselves become monsters. So the premise is very simple. This Sutter Kane guy's gone missing. The publisher hires this investigator who works for insurance companies, freelance as to catch fraudsters and stuff like that. And so this is, well, Sutter Kane's missing, and they didn't get the final manuscript for a book they've already promoted, and the fandom is chomping at the bit to get the latest book. And so he's like, okay, he's got to go find this guy. And so that's the deal. And immediately weird things happen, all kinds of stuff that's indicative of something's not quite right. He's partnered up with a woman for the publishing company, and more or less becomes his girlfriend or what have you. But she was the editor for Sutter Kane, and so she's the first one to, realize that this is weird. There is this journey to this town that he believes is where Sutter Kane is hiding out. But it's a town he made up, and but he believes, nah, it's just some town that's a small town that's just not on the map or whatever. And but no, it's a town he made up. And they do come to it, but so through some bizarre means, he sleeps through the journey, so he doesn't see it, but she does, and the road disappears. Suddenly it's all clouds and shit, and then the next thing you know, they're on a bridge and they go into the town. Yeah. So there's a lot of nods to, of course, Lovecraft and whatnot, and there's other people that are trapped in there. There's this boy on a bicycle. Then suddenly he's an old man as he keeps going, and he says, I can't get out. He won't let me leave. And it's like, what does he mean? Well, obviously Sutter won't let this guy leave while he's aging on the road on his bicycle. So in the town is, of course, just a horror show of different aspects of people turning into monsters and demonic children and all this nasty stuff. And then he sends this Trent is the character, that's the investigator that Sam Neill plays, and ultimately he's imposed upon him to deliver the manuscript. Well, he keeps trying to get rid of it, but he can't, because once he got out, Sutter Kane is basically God. Well, the problem there is that the idea that Sutter Kane would have power over you because you've read the book and now you've become a part of it. It's like, well, how come Sam Neill, because he didn't read it, he's seen aspects of it and he's seen it in manifest and all that, but he's still stuck in the power of Sutter Kane and all that. But Sutter Kane says, yeah, but I made you up. So he was never real to begin with. So you have to conclude that other people are. That Charlton Heston's, he's the publisher. I guess he was real. I don't know. But he, the visiting psychiatrist, because Sam Neill ends up in an asylum, driven mad by all of this. And I don't know. But the whole world ends while he's in the asylum, and then it falls apart. He walks out, goes to a movie theater to watch the movie, and sees himself, and then loses his mind there, starts laughing and crying, and that's it. Because the movie got out, and don't watch the movie, don't read the books, but for Sam Neill himself, his character apparently never really existed, so it leaves it like that. But he's become manifest because of Sutter Kane and all that. So maybe it doesn't completely work in those aspects, but it's a very creepy, weird little tour of nastiness in the aspects of horror, and certain tributes to Lovecraft and Stephen King and what have you. So there you go. In the Mouth of Madness is a pretty good one. I don't think it's on par with his excellence in Halloween and The Thing, or even The Fog, but it's certainly much better than Prince of Darkness, and a bit better than Christine. Yeah, it's a good one. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness, so many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.